Now this is something really interesting that I came across the other day, and it essentially shows you the marketing behind Western food culture. And this is something you can almost certainly no longer see when you constantly live within it, because then you are surrounded by the same environment all the time. So you do not really notice it anymore, and you simply experience it as normal. And I think you only really begin to see it when you have lived on both sides. So essentially in the West and then here in Asia where I'm currently staying. Now a mini Big C recently opened in my area, which is basically a small convenience store. You have to think about it like a 7-Eleven, which most of you probably know. So I went there the other day to pick up a matcha tea for the security guard in my complex. And while I was waiting at the counter, I noticed that directly in front of me there was a small display with a few products. And the products essentially summarized everything that I have been trying to tell you here on my channel for a while in just a row. You can see nearly all the products that I myself also fell victim to in the past. So at the top you essentially have coffee for the Dolce Gusto coffee machine. Then underneath you have protein bars, vitamin bars, crunchy bars and some stronger coffee I think. Then below that you have the Caesar salad dressing. And right next to it you also have your lentils and butter beans. So people from the UK are probably already very happy with this, I think. Then it goes into the pasta sauce with tomato, onion, garlic and basil. And of course there's also pesto for the average Western guy, because how else could it be that he comes to Asia and thinks, well, I need pesto. Then below that there are his beloved olives, pickled vegetables and another Italian-style spaghetti sauce. And how else could it possibly end other than with granola containing healthy nuts and berries? I mean, I genuinely do not know how much more obvious it could become, because together these products represent the modern way we have been taught to eat. We no longer begin with food, but with products. We assemble them into something that resembles a healthy meal. The beans and lentils make it look wholesome. The protein and vitamin bars make it look functional. The granola with nuts and berries makes it look nutritious. Then the dressing, pesto, pasta sauce, mustard, olives and pickles are there to make everything taste more exciting, or as I would now say, salty. And every individual product can be defended because it contains something beneficial. The beans contain fiber and protein. The bars contain protein or added vitamins. The granola contains nuts, berries or whole grains. And the pesto contains herbs and perhaps olive oil. So when you look at each product separately, you can always find something beneficial to point towards. But the thing is that this is marketed food. It has nothing to do with eating real whole foods, and it has also very little to do with the actual food environment surrounding this shop. You can buy fresh vegetables and fruit right next to the store. Even fresh fish is available just around the corner. And the average tourist spending a few weeks here goes straight into this store and buys all these familiar products. So people come all the way to Asia, but instead of becoming curious about the food that is naturally available here, they try to recreate exactly the same diet they were eating at home. And once you see this pattern, you cannot really unsee it anymore. And this food is also incredibly expensive compared to the real fresh whole foods that are locally available, because almost all of it is imported or at very least heavily marketed and priced as something special. But my larger point is that this little display contains the entire pattern I have been talking about and trying to make you aware of. It is not really food in the ordinary sense anymore. It is a collection of products that allows you to reproduce the same Western eating pattern wherever you go. You can travel half across the world and under a completely different food environment and still never actually leave your usual diet. And then you may wonder why you cannot lose weight, why your breakouts never stop, why you continue feeling bloated, or why you struggle with digestive issues and generally do not feel well. It is because you never actually break the pattern, not even when you're on holiday. So you need to become more open to trying different things and eating the foods that are naturally available around you. Otherwise, it becomes a never-ending loop. You may change the brand, the packaging, or the country in which you buy the products, but the underlying way of eating remains exactly the same. So I hope I could open your eyes a little bit with these images. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!